My best friend bought a gorilla, and somehow I could hear its thoughts.
Her skin looks so smooth. I want it. Can't wait. Tonight I'll peel it off.
I froze, but then I thought, relax, it's fine. The research lab is like a fortress. That thing can't possibly escape, and my home's a few hundred kilometers away. Even driving takes hours. But that night, Grace, my best friend, called me, panicking.
Mia, something's wrong. The gorilla, Blackie, escaped. And its tracker says it's right outside your building.
Since I was a kid, I've been able to hear animals' thoughts. That gorilla, Grace brought it back from Africa for research. But when I first saw it, it drooled at me.
Her skin so soft. If only I could wear it.
Its stare. It wasn't animal. It was human, like a serial killer's. Grace noticed I'd gone pale and asked what was wrong. I told her everything I'd just heard. She burst out laughing.
Mia, you've been watching way too many sci-fi movies. Blackie's super gentle. Come on, it's in a reinforced cage. Laser-proof, remember?
Yeah, but you said it's genetically modified smarter than normal?
Grace was about to answer when a security guard nearby scoffed.
No matter how smart, it's still an animal. How could it escape right under our noses?
He patted the stun baton on his belt and assured me everything was fine. I finally relaxed, said goodbye to Grace, and drove home. At 3 a.m., my phone rang again. Grace's voice trembled.
Blackie got out, Mia. It took the guard's keys, unlocked every cage, freed all the animals. I don't know how.
Lightning flashed, thunder roared, rain poured outside. Then came a loud pounding on my door. Grace must have heard it through the phone.
Mia, don't panic. Blackie might be smart, but there's no way it could find your place. It's storming. It has no GPS, no sense of direction. You're fine. And your boyfriend's home, right?
My heart sank. Crap! He's on a business trip. Won't be back till tomorrow. The pounding got louder. I crept to the door, pressed my eye to the peephole. Nothing but darkness.
Who?
Then I heard a voice.
Who's out there?
Inside my head.
Huh? Maybe I'm not acting human enough. Why isn't she opening the door? If she doesn't soon, I'll break it down. No, wait. Don't scare her. Scared skin's no good.
Cold sweat drenched me. I backed away slowly, grabbed my phone.
Grace, Blackie's at my door. My boyfriend's gone. Please, do something.
My door was just cheap wood. If it forced its way in, I was done. How did it even know where I lived? And how the hell did it find me through a storm? Could it actually understand human speech?
Don't worry. The lab security team is on their way, but the bad weather might slow them down. Just stay inside, don't come out, and wait for help. That chimp is smart. Don't make it angry.
How long will that take? The door won't hold.
I'll send my brother. He lives near you. Hang tight.
I kept nodding like crazy before I finally hung up. Grace's brother's an ex-soldier, 6'3", built like a tank. Maybe he could actually take the thing down. 20 minutes later, I heard fighting outside, then silence. A heavy thud. Blood trickled under my door. The banging suddenly got way softer. I took a deep breath and whisper.
Grace's brother. Is that you?
I peered through the peephole. It was him, lying against my door, covered in blood. He looked hurt. Guilt flooded me. I was about to open the door.
Why is she so cautious? I hid perfectly. Let that man knock. She still won't open up? Did she figure it out?
Then, more blood, flowing under the door. My stomach dropped. He was dead. I bit my hand to stop from screaming. Tears streamed down my face. I tore up my bedsheet, tied it into a rope. Maybe I could escape through the window, but it wasn't long enough. Then I heard it again, that same voice, inside my head, right outside the door.
Thinking of climbing out the window, huh? Clever girl. No wonder I like your skin. But I'm hungry now.
I froze on the spot. How the hell did it know what I was thinking? What I was doing? Grace once told me that gorilla was genetically modified, super smart, but I never imagined it could be this smart. Smart enough to predict my next move. Still, I had no choice. It was either jump out the window and die from the fall, or stay here and let that thing outside rip off my skin. Just when I was losing hope, my boyfriend's message popped up on my phone.
Hey babe, I finished work early and brought you a little gift. The taxi's almost downstairs. Bring me an umbrella, okay?
I couldn't help but laugh and cry. Of all times, my boyfriend had to come back now.
No, he absolutely can't come upstairs.
Grace's brother was super strong and still couldn't beat that chimp. My boyfriend's way too slim for that. I tried calling him to stop him from coming up, but he didn't answer, so I sent a voice message instead, praying he'd listen.
Don't come upstairs. There's a mutated gorilla at the door. I've already called the police. Wait for them to get there before you come up.
No one replied to my voice message. Then, through the pouring rain, a taxi pulled up downstairs, and my boyfriend finally called back.
Mia, what are you talking about? A gorilla? If you want to see a gorilla, I'll take you to the zoo this weekend.
Not the zoo! Grace's gorilla escaped. It's hunting me.
I finished speaking, choking back tears, hoping he'd understand, but instead, he went silent for a moment and then got angry.
Mia, are you hiding a guy in the house and lying to me about a gorilla at the door? Do you really think I'm a 3-year-old who'd fall for that?
Then he hung up. I was left crying, powerless. If he came upstairs now, he'd be dead for sure. I had to stop him. Grace's brother had already been killed by that gorilla trying to save me. I couldn't just watch my boyfriend die. Thinking that, I dialed his number again.
Fine! Don't believe me, call Grace yourself. Please, don't risk your life over this.
Who doesn't know you and Grace grew up together? Let her vouch for you. That doesn't make it any more believable.
I was pacing, racking my brain, trying to figure out how to make my boyfriend believe me, when suddenly a breaking news alert popped up on my phone.
A gorilla escaped from a local research lab tonight at 9 p.m. and hasn't been caught yet. Citizens are advised to lock all doors and windows and stay away if you see it.
I froze for a second, then it hit me. That was Grace's lab. I forwarded the news to my boyfriend right away.
Even if you don't trust Grace or me, you've seen the news, right? I swear on my entire life's luck. If I'm lying even a little, may lightning strike me down.
My boyfriend knows I'm super stingy about my luck. I'd never swear on it unless it was something serious. Sure enough, he finally started to believe me, just a little.
There's really a gorilla out there? Then what are you gonna do? You can't just sit there and wait to die. I'm coming up to save you.
I cut him off right away before he could finish.
You? With those tiny arms and legs? Yeah, right. Just find somewhere to hide. A storage room if you have to. I don't want you getting caught in the mess. Don't get yourself hurt by accident.
My boyfriend finally agreed, and I let out a sigh of relief. But for some reason, something felt off. It was way too quiet outside. Heart pounding, I crept up to the peephole, and all I saw was a puddle of dark blood on the floor. Where did the chimp go? Did they catch it? But if they did, why wasn't there any sound of a struggle? Just as that thought crossed my mind, a wave of sickening stench hit my nose. The next second, something warm and slimy dripped down my neck, thick and sticky, like strings of transparent goo. My mind just exploded. A loud buzzing filled my head, and before I knew it, I was looking up, and what I saw, I'll never forget for the rest of my life. I fell straight to the floor. That chimp was clinging to the top of my doorframe, drooling as it stared down at me. Its saliva dripped through the gap in the frame, right onto my skin. But for some reason, it didn't break through. It just kept staring at me, like a predator watching its prey, savoring the fear. What the hell was it waiting for? And then I heard it again, its voice, inside my head.
One skin's never enough. And now, another one just walked right in. Good things are worth saving for last. I'll keep her skin, peel it off later. She's not going anywhere anyway.
Suddenly, the chimp vanished from the window above the door. I froze. Wait, was he talking about my boyfriend? Oh no, I totally forgot he can understand human speech. He must have heard me telling my boyfriend to hide in the storage room. Trembling, I grabbed my phone and tried calling him. But maybe it was the underground signal. Calls wouldn't go through, and even when they did, they kept cutting out. He couldn't hear a word I was saying. I was freaking out, wanting to rush out and check. But what if it was just a trap by the chimp? With no other choice, I kept calling and messaging him over and over. Finally, one time, he picked up, and the signal was full bars.
If you get into the storage room, lock the door right away. That chimp understands human speech. He's coming for you. Hide fast, stay quiet, and don't make a sound. He's really smart.
But I didn't even finish my sentence before he cut me off. He groaned like he was in so much pain.
Mia, it's over. The chimp. He's got me. He's peeling my skin off. It hurts so bad. Please, you have to hide. Don't come out. No matter what, don't come out.
I collapsed to the floor, completely stunned, like lightning struck me. Then I started gagging uncontrollably. The next second, my best friend Grace called.
Are you okay? Are you hurt? We've just arrived at your apartment complex. The police are here too.
I ran downstairs like a maniac, desperate to reach the storage room and save my boyfriend. But all I found was a fresh pool of blood. The police said the chimp was extremely cautious. By the time they arrived, it had already escaped, carrying my boyfriend on its back. Tears streamed down my face as I dropped to my knees.
Please, you have to save my boyfriend. That chip's gonna eat him.
The police hurried over and helped me to my feet.
Don't worry, the gorilla's got a tracker. We'll track it down and have it caught as soon as possible.
Before I could even stand up, Grace saw her brother in the corner, his body barely recognizable. She screamed and threw herself at him.
Bro, what happened to you? Please, don't scare me like this.
I wiped my tears and just fell to my knees in front of Grace.
I'm so sorry, brother. You risked yourself to save me.
I thought Grace would slap me across the face, but instead, she just threw her arms around me and broke down, crying her heart out.
All of this happened because Blackie got out, but it's not your fault. You're a victim too.
But I fell into deep guilt. Grace said that Blackie has always been gentle, and it only went berserk after seeing me this afternoon. But why? Is there something special about me? There's still no news from my boyfriend. The police said he's probably gone. The search team was frustrated. That chimp's incredibly smart. Every time they almost caught it, it slipped away. They tracked it all night without sleep, but in the end, they lost it. Looking at my boyfriend's clothes in the apartment, I couldn't stop crying. Deep down, I knew why he got caught. When I checked the building's security footage, I saw it. If he had gone straight into the storage room when I told him to, he would have been safe. He would have made it. But he didn't stay hidden. He went into the storage room, grabbed something, and tried to come upstairs to save me. That's when he ran into the chimp and never stood a chance. Otherwise, how could he, running from the first floor to the basement, be slower than that monster, coming all the way down from the 8th? Just thinking about it makes my heart ache all over again. When I showed up at Grace's brother's funeral, his wife suddenly rushed over and slapped me hard across the face. She pointed right at me, screaming like she'd lost her mind.
This is all your fault! If he hadn't gone to save you, he wouldn't be dead. How dare you show up at his funeral? Get out!
As she shouted, she lunged at me, grabbing a handful of my hair and yanking hard. Just then, Grace showed up, pulled me out of her grip, her face flushed red with anger, and said coldly,
Linda, what the hell are you doing? I told you already, my brother's death wasn't Mia's fault. She's a victim too. Don't you get it?
I knew I wasn't welcome there. Lost and numb, I went home. Then the police called. They said my boyfriend was found, only slightly injured. The chimp, dead when they arrived. I froze. Something didn't add up. Last time he called, he said that thing was peeling his skin off. How could that be just a few scratches? That chimp was insanely violent, and with all that blood in the storage room, there's no way he's just slightly hurt. And if he was out of danger, why didn't he call me right away? I asked the cops, and they said when they found him, he'd lost his voice, so they contacted me instead. But something felt off. He could have sent a message, right? Why did the police have to tell me? Totally weird. I video called him to check on him, but his eyes kept darting around. His walk was weird, and he looked bigger? My gut told me something was seriously off. I packed my things at the apartment, told him I had a business trip and planned to stay somewhere else for a few days. I don't know why, but even though that chimp's supposed to be dead, I just can't relax. My boyfriend used to smile, tease me, joke around. Now he's silent, like he's got someone else's soul inside him. After moving into a hotel, I decided to dig into that chimp's past. Why was it so smart? Why did it go berserk only after seeing me? Turns out, before Grace's lab caught it, it had already been experimented on. They injected it with some IQ-boosting drug. Every other test subject died. Only this one survived and escaped back to the wild. If it was really that smart, how did it get caught again? Unless it wanted to be caught. The thought made my blood run cold. Why was it so obsessed with me? Something didn't add up. And just as I was trying to figure it out, then my boyfriend suddenly called. He said, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," and wanted to celebrate. He asked me to invite Grace, too. Hearing him sound completely normal, this was the boyfriend I knew. Maybe the police were right. He just lost his voice from shock. Now he's back to normal. I even doubted him before. What a fool I was. I called Grace, then grabbed some cooked food, drinks, and fruit from the store, planning to head to his apartment and celebrate properly. Grace agreed right away, saying she'd come after finishing her work, maybe a bit late. When I got downstairs, I saw her coming up the stairs. She actually got here before me, carrying just as much food. No chance to ride the same elevator, so I waited for the next one. Upstairs, I stood at the door, took a deep breath, and knocked. After a long wait, my boyfriend finally opened the door. Seeing me carrying a durian,
Mia, what are you carrying? It stinks. Get it out of here.
my boyfriend used to love durian the most, so how come his taste has changed now? But thinking about how paranoid I'd been before, doubting him, I quickly convinced myself, people's tastes can change after a serious illness, and what you liked as a kid isn't the same as when you grow up. I smiled and said,
If you don't like it, I won't bring it in.
Saying that, I tossed the durian into the trash can by the door, and then added,
Oh, right. Where's Grace? Hasn't she arrived yet?
Not yet. Probably stuck in traffic. Mia, come on in and wait. Don't stand out there.
Before I could react, he pulled me inside and shut the door. The room wasn't cold, but I still got chills all over. I swear I saw Grace take the same elevator and press this floor. So why did he say she's not here? Did I mistake someone else for her? No, Grace doesn't know anyone else in this building. As soon as I walked in, he told me to take a shower, said he bought me a new body lotion to try. Then he pushed me into the bathroom and went to the kitchen to cook something nice. But right before the door closed, I saw mushrooms on the counter. My face went pale. He knows I hate mushrooms. He's always remembered that. So why forget now? And why did he want me to shower before dinner? Something felt off. I didn't listen to him. Instead, I called Grace. My gut told me the person I saw earlier was her. The call went through, but no one picked up. Then I heard a faint vibration from somewhere inside the room. The layout of our old apartment was kinda weird. You walk in, and it's one big room with the guest bed. Then the bathroom and kitchen are separate, and the balcony's got its own little door. The vibration was coming from there. I crept over, opened the door, and saw Grace, unconscious, tied up in the corner, a cloth stuffed in her mouth. The phone was buzzing right on her. My scalp went numb, a chill from head to heel. What the hell is going on? Why would my boyfriend kidnap Grace? Why lie to me? They used to bicker, but not like this. Kidnapping? I ripped the cloth from her mouth, untied the ropes, and pinched her face to try to wake her. Thank God she finally woke up. Weak, pale, barely able to move. But when she saw me, her face changed completely. She used all her strength to push me toward the door.
Mia, run! The chimp isn't dead! Your boyfriend, he's...
Before Grace could finish, the balcony door slowly opened. I already knew what she was going to say. My boyfriend wasn't my boyfriend anymore. He stood there with a boning knife, grinning like a maniac.
Ah, you found me. Mia, you've been naughty. Since you won't behave, don't blame me for punishing you.
He lunged at me with the knife. I was quick, grabbed a fire extinguisher and blasted it in his face. Blinded by the powder, he staggered. I smashed the extinguisher into his head, grabbed Grace, and ran for the door. At the elevator, we found it out of service. I tried to carry Grace up the stairs, but he shoved me off.
Mia, run! Go call the police. Don't come back for me. If you try to take me, he'll catch you. I don't want to slow you down.
Don't talk nonsense. I'm not leaving you. I'll carry you out if I have to. If we die anxiety, we die together.
Then a roar came from down the hallway. Not human at all, more like an animal. It won't behave? Don't blame me for getting rough, it seemed to growl. Right after, the gorilla howled. Grace and I both went pale. She shoved me down the stairs.
Go! You're the only one who can get help. If you keep hesitating, we're both dead, and I'm not dying with you.
I wiped my tears and ran downstairs. Just as I reached the gate, a police car passed by. Without thinking, I jumped in front of it. The officer slammed the brakes.
Girl, are you out of your mind?
I didn't have time to explain, just told them to go save him. The cops knew about the chimp incident, so they immediately surrounded the whole building. Soon, my boyfriend was captured, Grace was safe, and I hugged her, crying tears of joy.
Thank God, I didn't get you killed this time.
Grace gave a weak little laugh and joked.
If I really died because of you, you'd basically turn into a bestie collector.
I was crying and laughing at the same time, holding her tight. After my boyfriend was taken to the police station and later handed over to Grace's lab, Grace told me that the chimp was incredibly smart. It had actually let itself be captured by the lab on purpose. That afternoon, after seeing me, by nighttime, the chimp took advantage of the staff being distracted, stole the keys and the remote for the security system, and managed to escape. Later, it caught my boyfriend and peeled off his skin. Then I found out from Grace why the chimp went crazy after meeting me. Turns out, the person who first experimented on it, the one who injected it with that intelligence serum, was my mom. Because I look so much like my mom, it thought I was her daughter, and it hated her so much, it wanted to make me suffer instead. When I finally learned the truth, I let out a long sigh. It was all over at last. I smiled at Grace, but for some reason, there was something off about the way she looked at me.